In 1997, Dallas Thompson was driving down California's Highway 58 through a massive rainstorm. His tire slipped, the car spun out of control, and he plunged 76 meters down a sheer cliff. First responders arriving at the scene thought no one could survive the crushed wreckage, but Thompson was pulled from the flattened car alive. He later claimed that falling into the ravine, a blinding, brilliant light filled his vision. In that flash, he felt a sudden, overwhelming influx of knowledge. Earth is not a solid ball, but a hollow shell containing a hidden world of mammoths and ancient, long-lived tribes. Thompson spent the next several years consumed by this vision, writing a manuscript and eventually purchasing a helicopter ticket for a May 2003 expedition to the North Pole. He was convinced he would find the entrance there, but months before his departure, he disappeared entirely, leaving no record of his whereabouts. His disappearance serves as a modern entry point into an obsession that has persisted for centuries. For some, the idea of an inner world is more than a theory. It is a focus that justifies leaving everything behind on the surface. This belief system has evolved into a complex conspiracy ecosystem. Current claims suggest that unidentified flying objects don't originate from distant star systems, but from inside our own planet, using massive openings up in North and South Poles as transit hubs to enter our atmosphere. To ground these claims, believers often look to historical figures like Admiral Richard Byrd. Byrd led multiple high-profile expeditions to Antarctica, and before his death, he made several cryptic remarks to the press about a beautiful mystery beyond the South Pole. For those searching for answers, these vague quotes serve as the smoking gun, proof that a hidden land exists in the ice. They also cite the testimony of Carl Unger, a German U-boat crewman who allegedly entered a subterranean world through a passage beneath the sea in 1943. He described finding a lush, technologically advanced civilization on a landmass he called Rainbow Island. These subterranean claims stand in direct opposition to everything we understand about geology. This cross-section shows the reality of our planet: a thin crust, a massive pressurized mantle of rock, and a dense white-hot iron core at the center. In an age of satellite mapping and seismology seeing through thousands of miles of rock, a hollow center is a physical impossibility. This raises a deeper question: why does a theory that has been thoroughly debunked by science continue to thrive? To find the origin of the hollow Earth, we have to look back to the 1700s, when the idea wasn't a fringe conspiracy, but a legitimate scientific hypothesis. It was championed by Sir Edmund Halley, the same astronomer who successfully predicted the return of the comet that now bears his name. Halley noticed strange fluctuations in the Earth's magnetic field. To explain them, he proposed that the planet was actually composed of multiple concentric shells, each rotating at a different speed. This internal motion, he argued, was the source of our magnetic anomalies. The mathematician Leonhard Euler later refined this model. He argued that to provide heat and light to the residents of these inner shells, a miniature glowing inner sun must hang suspended at the absolute center of the planet. By the 19th century, these mathematical theories became the basis for action. A war veteran named John Cleves Symmes Jr. spent years lobbying the U.S. Congress for funding, convinced that the only way to prove the math was to sail directly into a massive hole at the North Pole. Symmes never got his funding, but the transition was complete. Scientific inquiry had turned into a fixed belief system, one that would survive long after improved measurements proved the core was solid rock and metal. As the scientific community moved on, the hollow Earth found a new home, the world of imaginative fiction. In 1908, a book called The Smoky God told the story of Olaf Jansen, a fisherman who allegedly sailed past the northern ice pack and slipped through a portal into the interior. Jansen's account was filled with vivid world-building: telepathic giants who lived for centuries, trees reaching 1,000 feet high, and a hidden tropical Eden that felt more real than the world above. Over time, the line between these stories and reality began to blur. Modern believers eventually stripped away the fictional context of these early 20th century books, adopting Jansen's journey as a literal historical record and treating fiction as a hidden truth. When you look past the modern UFO sightings and the outdated math, the narrative connects to a much older, global tradition. The hollow Earth is actually the modern face of ancient mythology. This is most visible in the legend of Agartha. Across Tibet, India, and Mongolia, people have told stories of a vast, enlightened kingdom hidden deep within the earth, a place of perfect peace and advanced wisdom, reachable only through secret cave systems. This aligns with Chinese myths of the immortal paradise of Shiwangmu and the Buddhist concept of Shambhala, a sacred valley tucked away in the most inaccessible reaches of the Himalayas, hidden from the eyes of the unworthy. These ancient traditions share the same core longing as the modern conspiracy, the belief that a perfect version of society exists just out of sight, offering an escape from the limitations and suffering of our known world. The 14th Dalai Lama has clarified that Shambhala is not a physical coordinate on a map. It is a spiritual destination, a state of being reached through inner work and good karma, rather than a place one can sail to. However, as humanity mapped every continent and satellite charted every island, we lost our physical frontiers. There was no longer any blank space on the map where we could imagine a paradise like Shambhala might be hidden. The surface world is fully understood, and with that understanding comes the realization that it is a place of conflict, scarcity, and pain. The hollow earth theory offers a way to keep those undiscovered frontiers alive. By placing paradise beneath the crust, it creates a space that remains unmapped and impenetrable, allowing us to believe that a perfect world is still physically possible, just beneath our feet. When the surface offers no more room for our oldest desires, we simply push them downward. We take the hope for a Garden of Eden and bury it where science cannot easily go, the dark, silent center of the world. Dive deeper into the hidden secrets that shape our reality. Click the subscribe button, activate the bell, and see you in the next scientific investigation, only on TEMBODocs.